All right, so life is funny, fellas. Listen up. Natural Hypertrophy just made a video reviewing my program and my physique and then giving me pointers about how I could improve. It's always nice when you got a buddy that can look at things that you can't see in your program and tell you how to improve. Let me tell you why life is funny though. So he pointed out that I had a lot of area of opportunity in my triceps. They have good insertions and they have a lot of potential to get even bigger than they are, right? Actually, I was in my Bells of Steel home gym the other day, freaking doing dual rope push downs. And dude, let me tell you something. I actually physically wrote in my logbook, fuck, I've had enough, like all caps, exclamation points, because I've been having trouble progressing that exercise for a while now. And I pour a lot of movement economy into that, meaning I focus on it a lot over other tricep exercises, you see? So if that's progressing, I'm progressing. If it's not progressing, I ain't progressing. You see what I mean? That actually got me to look at my training as a whole and then just key in on things that I want to improve and just reflect upon my experiences and what really works best for me. So today, I'm going to talk to you about how I'm going to further mutate my physique, all right? I'm about 200 pounds lean right now. I want to be 220 lean, all right? And here's how we're going to do it. First and foremost, since we're talking about triceps, all right, we're going to address where I model my tricep training from, and that's from the Mountain Dog method from John Meadows. Foundationally, for 99% of y'all, I think that's a great way of modeling your tricep training. If you're not familiar with it, basically 50-50 bias, press downs over extensions. For me, it was really like 60-40 or what it ended up being because I kind of just let it run away from me. That's really good for ensuring that your elbows are always nice and warm and that you never have elbow pain. And John Meadows was 1,000% ahead of the curve in terms of that. There is a way to take that principle though, and then apply it to exercises that work better for you personally. So what does that mean? Traditionally, I don't know if y'all heard my tummy grumble, by the way. I got this new camera and it picks up on sound. My stomach just grumbled. Anyway, exercises that work better for me in the past traditionally. Extensions have always worked better for me. I've said it time and time again in every tier list that I've ever, ranked tricep exercises. Extensions have always given me a better tricep stimulus, but I've struggled with including a lot of them because many of them beat up your elbows, just is what it is. And that's why we do the press downs first. So we take that 50-50 Mountain Dog rule, we put a Berserk method spin on it, and here's what we got. We got the 80-20 rule. Now, what's the 80-20 rule? So this is the way that I'm gonna approach my tricep training from now on. I'm gonna do just enough press downs to warm up my elbows, and then the other 80% of the training economy is gonna go into tricep extensions, JM presses, decline tricep extensions, seated French press. I've really been enjoying like the body weight tricep extensions. All of those things give me a better pump and they're more scalable because you can load them heavier, well, except for the body weight one, but that's more of just like a finisher. Now, in terms of press downs that I'm gonna actually do for the sake of hypertrophy, well, I'm gonna do the incline press down. I talked about this on my Instagram story a little bit, but I really enjoy this because it just feels like it has a good strength curve. It's very stable and I can load it heavy and it gives me a great pump. Now, it doesn't allow you to get your arms behind your body like on a dual rope push down, which technically biases the long head. Here's the thing, fellas. I really need the Johnny One plates that say that you have to be optimally positioned biomechanically to work the muscles. You do not, okay? If you straighten your elbow, you're fully working all three heads of your tricep. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a secret. Putting your arm behind your body is just one means of working the long head really well. If I can add stability to the movement, push more weight, do more reps, and do a higher frequency of a movement, that all will allow me to work my long head of the triceps really well. All right, so it's not just one factor we look at, it's multifactorial. The other part of the 80-20 Berserk method tricep protocol that I'm putting out here is the warm-up part of it. That has been really key in the Berserk method in general, and I can't believe it took me so long to implement it in this way. But essentially, we're just gonna do long rope pushdowns, but as feeder sets. Now, what's a feeder set, okay? It's essentially just a gigabrain way of saying this is a warm-up. So I'm gonna take like 10 pounds for 10, 20 pounds for 10, so on and so forth. So I get to a weight that's like jabroni weight, but I kind of feel it. You see what I'm saying? So like a good set of 10 for me on dual rope push downs might be like 70 pounds, and that's like a 1-to-1 pulley. All right, that's like a decent set of 10 for me. I might stop at like 60 or 55 pounds as my final set of 10. I've done a lot to warm up my elbows because I've done what? If we start at 10 up to 55, that's 50 reps of press downs. You see what I'm saying? And my elbows are warm, yet my triceps are still fresh enough to be able to attack my extensions. I can move more weight on the extensions. I can do more volume on the extensions because my triceps are fresher. And overall, I'm just getting more tricep stimulus. Guys, I'm roasting in my apartment right now. I don't have the air on so that it's not like in the background. But what extensions am I going to be using? Well, fellas, my middle name is going to be extension. I'm going to do all of them. Here's the thing about exercise selection. It's good to talk about what exercises work really well for us or what work best for us out of a selection of movements. But the truth of the matter is that each movement is only going to fill like a slot on our program. And we should have 4 or 5 different movements that can fill that slot effectively, because even the best exercise for us that has the best stimulus to fatigue ratio, gives us the best pumps that we connect with the most, is going to get stale and need to be switched out at some point. It just is what it is. Now, this is individual to me. A lot of this has been conceptual in terms of things that you can apply. Maybe this can apply to you as well if you're advanced, and what I'm about to say also applies to you. This is not gonna really apply to beginner, intermediate level lifters, more than likely, but still listen up because it's just food for thought, okay? My triceps don't get sore really at all. So I've found that higher frequency tricep training really works well for me. So most people I'll prescribe, dude, like you work your triceps twice a week, you know, on each of your upper body days. So if you follow an upper lower rest, rest, repeat. You're gonna work your triceps twice. That's a best practice that works really well for most people. That worked and does work really well for me. But what I'm finding is bumping up that frequency to 3, 4 every time I go to the gym. So I have 5 training sessions. That has been really good in allowing me to fill in the volume where otherwise it was just a vacuum wherein I'm recovered, I'm ready to train my triceps again, and I'm just not going to. Now, what does that plan look like specifically? 80-20 Berserk method tricep rule. The day after that, or the session after that, I'm not gonna do extensions again, because I do feel that even if we're warming up our elbows on that 80-20 day, we don't wanna follow that up with another day of just doing a lot of extensions, because that'll still be a lot on the elbow, in my opinion. I'm gonna do the incline press downs or a stable tricep press down variation, just to allow me to get in more tricep volume, but also give that elbow time to recover and actually aid in active recovery, because that's what extensions, press downs rather, are really good for. So I'll do that, and that'll allow me to train them pretty much every day on my training split, because usually I'll give about a day of rest on average between each session because I train full body. Other than that, dude, I really like the exercises that I do for my forearms. I really think that doing those pronation twists, again, like every training day, like I do my neck and my abs, is really gonna help me bring up my forearms fast. So that's my forearms master plan. The last 2 things are gonna be core and then quad related. Now, let me just say that like my legs are not small. My legs are long, all right? My quads are always gonna be a challenging body part for me because of 1, my legs are long, and 2, my insertions. People say sometimes that they look like freaking tricep insertions, which is true. Like, I almost gotta be wearing Daisy Dukes for you to really see how thick and dense and meaty my quads are. Like, they're over 27 inches, dude. Like, they would look massive on someone with legs that were shorter than mine. I'm just going to continue to do what I have been doing. What I have been doing is that you only do movements that 1000% bias the quads and remove the lower back. I really like back squatting. I can back squat a lot. However, it works my back a lot too. You see what I mean? It's almost in the name, back squat. It's like a literal back squat, okay? I get a lot of lower back fatigue and not a whole lot of leg out of it. I'm only going to continue to do my leg presses. I'm going to include hack squats, and belt squats are good too, but what I found is they still allow me to shoot my hips up and use muscles other than what I'm trying to grow. So I may throw in the belt squat just when the other two get stale. But other than that, I really like what I have been doing. And the proof is in the pudding because my legs are big, okay? Now, in terms of the hamstrings, 2 game-changing exercises. Basic shit. One is hamstring curls. Now, Dr. Mike actually gave me this tip on one of his posts because I was like, dude, what did you put a pad on the hamstring curl for? And he was like, well, for a bigger stretch. I'm gonna do that the next time that I try a hamstring curl. So you put a little pad right where your legs go, and it gives you like a deeper stretch on your laying hamstring curls. You could also put one on like the pad that your shins rest on, but it's a lot easier for you to just put it where your legs are at. So I'm gonna do that. Hamstring curls have always been really good to me. John Meadows was a big proponent of those. I'm gonna keep doing those. Now, the progression in terms of my hip hinges, we talked about how I'm upgrading my hamstring curls a little bit. In terms of my hip hinges, dude, I'm just gonna start doing my reach RDLs from a deficit. In fact, I did. 2 things. It allows you to reach the bar further forward and get more range of motion, which as a consequence will stretch everything in your upper back more. Every benefit that I talked about in this video is going to be doubly so when you reach further and you reach deeper. It's also gonna stretch the hamstrings more. I'm not really worried about my leg development because they have been growing year over year. And I'm gonna get 30-inch legs one day, bro, is what it is. Now, in terms of the core, dude, what are you talking about? Bald Omni-Man has a weak core. Well, I don't train my obliques at all. Not really my serratus either. So it was fair to point that out. And dude, I'm a big fan of, if you can oonga boonga it, you oonga boonga it, all right, dude? So I'm just doing some side bends on the GHD or on a 45-degree hyper. I got extremely sore the time that I did that in the gym last week, all right? So I'm just gonna continue to include that as often as I can. Oh, also, calves got a C. Like he said, we all have C calves. I'm happy to report, though, that I have put another 1/2 inch on my calves, at least the last time that I measured them. They might be even bigger now, which for a total of, when I started isolating them, I put 2 inches on my calves in the past like 20, 21 months. That's good progress. I'm gonna have B tier, A tier calves over time. I have a really high insertion, it is what it is, but you can still get big calves even if your insertions are short, just the same way you can get big fucking arms if your bicep insertion is short. Look at Dorian Yates. Look at anyone with a short bicep insertion. Mine are a strong point, despite my insertion being below average. You see what I mean? The only thing that I've changed recently in terms of my calf training that put on that extra 1/2 inch is that I started doing a lot more standing calf raises. That has been really effective, and it's just basic frequency every time I'm in the gym pretty much, and progressive overload. And that has been working really well for me. That's all she wrote, fellas. I'm a big believer in we should be objective and we should be willing to improve ourselves. And I really appreciate that video he put out because my program, I was looking at it like, dude, I'm working a lot of everything, but you don't really, obviously I'm fucking jacked, but like you don't really see how much of your physique is really ahead of the curve in terms of things that you could be focusing on a little bit more. So this is gonna be my effort to make those points that have the area of opportunity come up and be stronger so that we can get like the S tier forearms like my boy Hairso, or the freaking, S tier calves that we all want. You guys let me know, what things are you changing in your program to bring up any weak points? And if you have any questions about weak points that you have, please give me those down below and I'll be sure to get to them. Y'all have a good day.